then, Liza. Get up. It's going to rain something chronic. You're going to sit there getting soaked.
Oh, go on. I haven't saw the blind thing since 5 o'clock, I haven't.
Now, Liza, what happened if you told me if it weren't for the rain, we wouldn't have any blooms?
You always have been the cheery one, and the best friend a gal could have.
So come now, there's always tomorrow. Better get home dry than wet. I'm getting chilled to the bone. What can Freddie be doing all this time? He's already been gone 20 minutes at least.
Not so long, but he ought to have gotten us a cab by this.
He won't be getting one till 11:30, missus. Not till the taxi cabs have finished dropping their theatre fares.
But we cannot stand out here until 11:30. It's simply too bad.
Well, it ain't my fault, missus. If Reggie had a bit of gumption, he would have gotten us a cab at the theatre door. What have you got in the cab?
Oh, there's not one to be had for love nor money.
Like I said, he won't be getting one till 11:30.
Oh, there must be one. You really can't have tried.
It's too tiresome.
Well, I went as far as Charing Cross Station. Did you expect me to go all the way to Hammersmith?
And did you expect us to go and get them ourselves?
Go again, and don't come back until you've found a cab for us.
Mother, I shall simply get soaked for nothing.
And what about us? Are we to stay in this trap next to nothing on? You selfish pig.
Very well, I'll go.
Now you say, ready?
Don't be
Which
sorry.
way you going, dear?
Taxi!
That's manners for you. 2 bunches of finest, drop the mud. How do you know that my son's name is Freddie, pray?
Oh, he's your son, is he? Well, if you'd done your duty as a mother should, I'd know better to sprawl poor girl's flowers and run off without paying. Will you pay me for 'em?
Do nothing of the sort, mother. They're acting a rude.
Please, Clara, allow me. Have you any pennies?
No, I've nothing smaller than a sixpence.
I can get Hannah, kind lady.
Give it to me. Now, this is for your flowers.
Thank you kindly, lady.
Make her give you the change. Those things are only a penny a bunch.
Do hold your tongue, Clara. You may keep the change.
Oh, thank you, lady.
Now, tell me how you know that young gentleman's name.
I did.
I heard you call him by it. Do not try to deceive me.
I was trying to save you. Oh, God, I'm Freddie or Charlie. Same as you might yourself if you was talking to a stranger and wished to be pleasant. Cheer up, Captain, and half an hour off the poor girl.
Sorry, my dear. Haven't you changed?
I can give you change, Captain.
For a sovereign, I have nothing less.
Oh, go on, don't you both now off me. I can change half a crown. Here, take this for something.
Don't be troublesome. There's a good girl. Here's you happens if that's any use to you.
You be careful, and you give him a flower for it. There's a bloke right here taking down every blessed word you're saying.
I ain't done nothing wrong by speaking to the gentleman. I have a right to sell flowers if I keep on the girl. A respectable girl served me. I never spoke to him such as to buy a flower off me. Oh, don't stop, Oren. You want to attract attention? Show your head. Get out of here.
Taking her down. What him? That's protect. She took money off the gentleman. I saw it.
I'm so pleased to let him charge you against me. You don't know what it means to me. I'll take away my gag and go on the street for speaking to gentlemen.
Who said you silly girl? What do you take me for?
She thought you was a copper's knot. Don't. It's all right. He's a gentleman. Look at his boots.
What's a copper's knot?
What else would you call it? It's a copper's knot. Sort of involved.
I take my phone home. I never said a word.
Shut up. Do I look like a policeman?
Then would you take down my words for? I
And bright flair for poor girl.
Oh, because I called him Captain. I meant no harm. I'm so pleased when the lady tried to get me for a word like that. You don't know.
I don't make no charge. Really, sir, if you're a detective, you need not begin protecting me against the horse station by any women as I ask you to. Anyone can see the girl meant no harm.
Yeah, what business is it of yours? You mind your own affairs, you do.
Hey, you damn big word. I'm a bit new to me.
You'll never said a word. You get yourself out of here. Don't be saying anything. I don't know. Nice thing. No, can't even shelter from the rain without being insulted. What are you doing here anyhow? If you're a tenant, you should be down your old nickel. That's what trouble's out.
He's a gentleman! Look at his boots!
And how are all your people down at Selsey?
Who told you my people came from Chelsea?
Never you mind if they did. And you, how do you come to be up so far east? You were born in Listen Grove.
Oh, it was the honey my league in Listen Grove. It wasn't fit for a pig to live in, and I had to pay 5 6 a week.
Hey, there, lady, stop that noise.
Can't touch you. You have the right to live where you please, you know?
Well, I suppose you know where I come from.
Hartsford.
Well, blimey. Who says I didn't come from there? He knows everything you do.
And I suppose
Doomsday. My affair is none of your business. And you, sir, are you akin to the Oxford Doctor? You certainly spent most of your life in Vermont.
Where on earth is Freddie? I shall catch pneumonia if I must stay in this drought any longer.
Earl's Court.
Will you please keep your unpenitent monster to yourself?
Did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to. I beg your pardon. Your mother's absent, unmistakably.
How very curious. I grew up in Large Lady Park, near Epsom.
What a devil of a name! Excuse me. You want a cab, do you?
Don't speak to me.
Please, please, Clara. We should be ever so grateful to you, sir, if you found a cab for us. Oh, thank you.
there I know he was a plainclothes copper. He's no right to take care of my cab. My cab was assigned to me in the 90s.
I don't know whether you've noticed it, but the rain stopped about 2 minutes ago.
So it has. And you wasted my time with your silliness.
Well, it's quite all right now. We shall simply walk to a mountain bus. Come, Clara.
How tiresome.
How do you do it, if I may ask?
Simply phonetics, science of speech. That's my profession, also my hobby. Happy is a man who can make a living by his hobby. You can spot an Irishman or a Yorkshireman by his brogue. I can place a man within 6 miles. I can place him within 2 miles of London, sometimes within 2 streets.
Ought to be ashamed of himself, unmanly coward!
Is there a living in that?
It's quite a fat one. This is an age of upstarts who have to be taught to speak like ladies and gentlemen. I can teach them.
Never mind his own business and leave the farm!
Women! Cease this detestable boohooing instantly, or else seek the shelter of some other place of worship.
I have a right to be here if I like. Same as you.
A woman who utters such depressing and disgusting sounds has no right to be anywhere, no right to live. Remember that you are a human being with a soul and the divine gift of articulate speech. That your native language is the language of Shakespeare and Milton. Don't sit there crooning like a bilious pigeon. Ow! What a sound. Ow!
Go on.
You hear this creature with a curbstone English? The English that will keep her in the gutter to the end of her days. Well, sir, in 3 months, I could pass that girl off as a duchess at an ambassador's garden party. I could even get her a place as lady's maid or shop assistant, which required better English.
Oh, what's that you say?
Yes, you incarnate insult to the English language. I could pass you off as Queen of Sheba. Can you believe that?
Oh, of course I can. I myself am a student of Indian dialects, and...
Are you? Do you know Colonel Pickering, the author of spoken Sanskrit?
Well, I am Colonel Pickering. Who are you?
Henry Higgins, author of Higgins Universal Alphabet.
I came from India to meet you.
I was going to India to meet you.
Where do you live?
27A Wimpole Street. Come and see me tomorrow.
I'm at the Carlton. Come dine with me.
Right you are.
Barflower, kind gentlemen. I'm short for my lodging.
I'm sorry, my dear, but you have to be changed.
Liar. Who said you could change half a crown?
You want to be stuffed with nails, you what? Take the whole blimmin' basket for 6pence!
A reminder.
Where were the two ladies that were here?
They walked to the bus when the Rhine stopped.
And left me with a cab on my hands. What?
Never you mind, young man. I'm going in a taxi. Goodbye, Fredo.
Bye. Well, I think that's the whole show.
You know, it really is incredible. I haven't taken the half of it, you know.
Would you like to go over any of it again?
Oh, no, I'm quite done up for this morning, thank you.
What's the matter, Mrs. Spears?
A young woman wants to see you, sir.
A young woman? What does she want?
Well, sir, she says you'll be glad to see her when you know what she's come about. She's quite a common girl, sir. Very common indeed. I should have sent her away only I thought perhaps you wanted her to talk in German machines. I hope I haven't done wrong, but you've had some queer people.
Does she have an interesting accent?
Oh, something dreadful, sir, really.
Let's have her out. Sure, Mrs. Spears.
Very well, sir. It's for you to say.
You know, this is rather a bit of luck. I'll show you how I make records. We'll set her talking, and I'll take you down first in Belle's visible speech, then in broad roaming. Then we'll set her on the phonograph so that you can turn her on as often as you like, with the written transcript before you.
This is the young woman, sir.
Wait, this is the girl I jotted down last night. She's of no use. I'm not going to waste my records on something I already have. Be off with you, I don't want you.
Don't you be so saucy. You aren't heard what I've come for yet. Did you tell him I come in a taxi?
Nonsense, girl. What do you think a gentleman like Mr. Higgins cares what she came in?
Oh, we are proud. Well, if my money's not good enough, I can go elsewhere.
Good enough for what?
Good enough for you. There you go, don't you? I've come to have lessons I have, and to pay for them too, make no mistake.
Well, what do you expect me to say to you?
Well, if you was a gentleman, you might ask the lady if she would sit down.
Pickering, shall we ask this baggage to sit down, or shall we throw her out the window?
Oh! I would be called a baggage, not when I've offered to pay like any lady.
What is it you want, my girl?
I want to be a lady in a flower shop. But they won't take me unless I can talk more genteel. And I said he could teach me. Well, here I am, ready to pay him, not asking any favours. And who treats me as if I was dirt?
How much?
Now you're talking. I thought you'd come off it when you saw a chance to get what you chucked at me last night.
Sit down.
But if you're gonna make it all
Sit down!
Sit down, girl. Do as you're told.
Why don't you sit down?
Don't mind if I do.
What's your name?
Eliza Doolittle.
And how much do you propose to pay me for the lessons?
Oh, I know that's right. A lady friend of mine gets French lessons for 18 pence an hour from a real French gentleman. When you wouldn't have the right to ask me the same for teaching me my own language as you would for French. So, I'll give you more than a shilling. Take it away.
Pickering, if you consider a simple shilling, not simply as a shilling, but as a percentage of this person's income, Works out to fully 60 or 70 guineas to a millionaire.
How so?
Figure it out. A millionaire has about £150 a day. She earns half a crown. That payment is rightly 2/5 of her income for the day. For a millionaire, that will come up to about £60. It's handsome. By George, it's enormous. It's the biggest offer I've ever had.
£60? What are you talking about? I never offered you £60.
Hold your tongue.
But I ain't got £60.
Don't cry, you silly girl. Nobody's going to touch your money. Sit down.
I'm going to touch you with a broomstick if you don't stop sniveling and sit down.
Anyone would think he's my father.
If I decide to teach you, I'll be worse than two fathers to you. Here.
What's this for?
It's for your eyes and any part of your face that feels moist. And remember, that is your handkerchief and that is your sleeve. Do not confuse one with the other if you want to be recognized as a lady in a shop.
Higgins, I'm interested. What about the ambassador's garden party? I'll say you're the greatest teacher on earth if you can make good on that. I'll bet you all the expenses of the experiment you can't do it, and I'll pay for the lessons.
Oh, you're real good. Thank you, Captain.
It's almost irresistible. She's so deliciously low, so horribly dirty.
Oh, well, you ain't dirty. I washed my hands and face before I did.
You don't know what washing means. Never mind. I shall make a duchess of this draggle-tailed goddess now.
Oh!
Yes, in 6 months, in 3 if she has a good ear and a quick tongue. I'll take her anywhere and pass her off as anything. I shall pass off this gutter slug as a duchess. We'll start today, now, this moment. Take it away and clean it, Mrs. Pierce. Is there a good fire in the kitchen?
Yes, but I don't-
Take all her clothes off and burn them. Bring up Whitley as somebody from New Ones. Wrap her up in brown paper till they come.
You're no gentleman. You're not to talk of such things. I'm a good girl, I am. And I know what the likes of you are, I do.
We want none of your slum prudery here, young woman. You've got to learn to behave like a duchess. Take it away, Mrs. Pierce. If she gives you any trouble, wallop her.
I'm going away. And you got this jump ears. I don't want no boys teaching me.
Oh, indeed. I'm mad, am I? Very well, Mrs. Pierce. You needn't order the new clothes for her. Throw her out.
No, you've got no right to touch me.
You see now when it comes to being saucy. This way.
I don't want no clothes. I want a taken off.
You're an ungrateful, wicked girl. This is my return for offering to take you out of the gutter and dress you beautifully and make a lady of you.
Stop, Mr. Higgins, I want to know. It's you that are wicked. Go home to your parents, girl, and tell them to take better care of you.
I ain't got no parents. They told me I was big enough to earn my own living and threw me out.
You can't treat this girl like you're just picking up a pebble from the beach. You don't know a thing about her. She may be married.
Oh, go on.
The girl very properly says, God, married indeed. Don't you know a woman of that class looks a worn-out 50 the moment she marries?
Who'd marry me?
Oh, by George, Eliza! The streets will be strewn with the bodies of men shooting themselves for your sake by the time I get done with you. Very well then. What on earth is all this fuss about? The girl doesn't belong to anybody. There's no use to anybody but me. You can adopt her, Mrs. Pierce. I'm sure a daughter would be a great amusement to you. Now, don't make any more fuss. Take her
But
downstairs.
what's to become of her? Is she to be paid anything? Do be sensible, sir.
Pay her whatever is necessary. Put it down in that housekeeping book. What on earth will she want with money? She'll have a food and a clothes. She'll only drink if you give her money.
Oh, you are a brute! It's a lie! No one ever saw the sign of liquor on mine.
Does it occur to you, Higgins, the girl must have some feelings?
Oh, no, I don't think so. Not any feelings that we need bother about. Have you, Eliza?
I've got my feelings, same as anyone else.
You see the difficulty?
What difficulty?
To get it to talk grammar. The mere pronunciation is easy enough.
I don't want to talk grammar. I want to talk like a lady in a flower shop.
Will you please keep to the point, Mr. Higgins? what terms the girl is to be here. If you have any waiting. And what's to become of her when you finish your teaching? You must look ahead a little.
What's to become of her if I leave her in the gutter? Tell me that, Mrs. Pierce.
That's her own business, not yours, Mr. Higgins.
Well, when I'm done with her, we can throw her back into the gutter, and then it will be her own business again, so that's all right.
Oh, you are! Oh! I never! No, I'm going away. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, you ought!
Have some chocolates. Liza?
How do I know what might be in it? I've heard of girls being drugged by the likes of you.
Pleasure, good faith, Eliza. I eat one half, you eat the other. You shall have boxes of them, barrels of them, every day. You shall live on them, eh?
I won't obey it, only I'm too ladylike to take it out of my mouth.
Yes, Eliza. I think you said you've given a taxi.
So what if I did? I have a good right to take a taxi as anyone else.
You have, Eliza. And in the future you shall have as many taxis as you want. You shall go up and down and round the town in a taxi every day. Think of that, Eliza.
Mr. Higgins, you're tempting the girl. It's not right. She should think of the future.
At her age, nonsense. Time enough to think of the future when you haven't any future to think of. No, Eliza. Do as this lady does. Think of other people's futures, but never think of your own. Think of chocolates and taxis and gold and diamonds.
No! What, no gold and no diamonds? I'm a good girl, I am.
You shall remain so, Eliza, under the care of Mrs. Pierce. And you shall marry an officer of the guards, beautiful moustache, the son of a marquis, who will disinherit him for marrying you, but will relent when he sees your beauty and goodness.
Excuse me, I really must interfere. Miss Pierce is quite right. This girl is to put herself in your hands for 6 months in a teaching experiment. She must understand thoroughly what she is doing.
How can she? She is incapable of understanding anything. Besides, do any of us understand what we are doing? If we did, would we ever do it?
Very clever, Higgins. Not sound sense, I'm afraid. Now, Miss Doolittle.
Ah, there, that's all you get, Eliza. Ow. Next explain. As a military man, you ought to know that. Give her orders, that's enough for her. Eliza, you are to live here for the next 6 months, learning how to speak beautifully like a lady in a flower shop. If you're good and do whatever you're told, you shall sleep in a proper bedroom, have lots to eat, and money to buy chocolates and take rides in taxis. You're naughty and idle. You shall sleep in the back kitchen among the black beetles and be woken by Mrs. Pierce with a broomstick. At the end of 6 months, you shall go to Buckingham Palace in a carriage, beautifully dressed. If the king finds out you're not a lady, you will be taken by the police to the Tower of London, where your head will be cut off, as a warning to other presumptuous flower girls. If you are not found out, you shall be given a present of 7 and 6pence to start life with as a lady in a shop. If you refuse this offer, you will be a most ungrateful and wicked girl. Angels will weep for you. Are you satisfied, Pickering? Can I put it more plainly and fairly, Mrs. Pierce?
I think you'd better let me speak to the girl properly in private. I don't know that I can take charge of her consent to the arrangement at all. Of course, I know you don't mean her any harm, but when you get what you call interested in people's actions, you never think or care what may happen to them, or to you. Come with me, Eliza.
That's all right. Thank you, Mrs. Pierce. Bundle her up to the bathroom.
You're a great bully, you are! I won't stay here if I don't like, and I won't let nobody wallow me! I never have to go to Buckingham Palace, and I wasn't in trouble to leave!
Now,
Not
don't
me!
answer that, girl. You don't understand each other. Come with me.
Well, what I say is what? I won't go near the king! I would have my head cut off! If I was known how to let myself before, I wouldn't have come! I've always been a good girl, I am! If you have missus, that's too good for the likes of me. I should be afraid to touch anything. I ain't a duchess yet, you know.
You've got to make yourself as clean as a room, then you won't be afraid of. And you must call me Mrs. Pierce, not Mrs.
Oh, what's that? it's a tub. This is where we wash ourselves, Eliza, and what I'm going to wash you. You expect me to get in that thing and wet myself all over? Not me. I should catch my death. I knew a lady who did it every Saturday night, and she died of it. Mr. Higgins has a gentleman's bathroom downstairs and has a bath every morning in cold water. Oh, he's made of iron, that man. If you're to sit with him in the corner and be talk, you will have to do the same. They won't like the smell of you if you don't. But you can have the water as hot as you like. There are 2 taps, hot and... Oh, I quit, Mrs. Spears. I daren't. It's not right. It's not natural. It would kill me. I've never taken a bath before in my life. Not what you call a proper one. Well, don't you want to be clean and sweet and decent like a lady? You know, you can't be a nice girl inside if you're dirty, overgrown urchin outside. Now stop crying. Go back into the dressing room and take off all your clothes. Then wrap yourself in this and come back to me. I will get the bath ready. Oh, I can't! I won't! It's not right! I've never taken off all my clothes before. It's not decent! Well, don't you take off all your clothes every night when you go to bed? No. Why should I? Of course I take off my skirt. Do you mean that you sleep in the underclothes you wear in the daytime? What else am I to sleep in? You will never do that again as long as you live here. I will get you a proper nightdress. You expect me to change into cool things and lie awake shivering out the night? You want to kill me, you do! I want to change you from a gutter snag to a clean, respectable girl fit to sit with a gentleman in the study. Are you going to trust me and do what I tell you, or be thrown out and sent back to your flower basket? Oh, my good! You don't know what the cold means to me! You don't know how I dread it! Your bed won't be cold here. I would put a hot water on. Off with you and undress. Oh, if only I knew what a dreadful thing it is to be clean, I'd never have come! I didn't know when I was wearing normal on. Take that thing off. Oh, I could, Mrs. Pierce, I really could! Here, step in and tell me whether it's hot enough for you. Oh, it's too hot!
Have you ever met a man of good character when women are concerned?
Yes, very frequently.
Well, I haven't. I find that the moment I let a woman become friends with me, that she becomes jealous, exacting, suspicious, and a total nuisance. I find the moment I become friends with a woman, I become selfish and tyrannical. Women upset everything. So, here I am, a confirmed old bachelor, and I'm likely to remain so.
Come, you know what I mean. I hope there's a full understanding that no advantage is to be taken over the girl's position.
What, that old thing? She'll be a pupil and nothing more.
I'm sorry to have to tell you that the trouble's beginning already. There's a dustman downstairs, Alfred Doolittle, who wants to see you. Says you've got his daughter here.
Sick.
Send the blackguard up.
Don't give it up to him, sir. I don't like his looks. I'll take care of the gal, sir.
You know, he may not be a blackguard, Higgins.
Nonsense, of course he's a blackguard.
Whether he is or not, I'm afraid we shall have some trouble with him.
I don't think so. If there's any trouble, he shall have it with me, not I with him.
Professor Higgins?
Here, good morning. Sit down.
I've come about a very serious matter, Governor.
Hounslow. Mother Welsh, I should think. What do you want, Doolittle?
I want my daughter back. That's what I want. See?
Of course you do. You're her father, aren't you?
That's right.
You don't suppose anyone else wants her, do you? I'm glad to see you have some spark of family feeling left. She's upstairs. Take her away.
What?
Take her away! Do you suppose I'm going to keep your daughter for you?
Now look here, Governor. Is this reasonable? Is it fair to take advantage of a man like this? The girl belongs to me. You got her. Where do I come in?
Your daughter had the audacity to come to my house and ask me to teach her how to speak properly so that she could get a place in a flower shop. This gentleman, my housekeeper, have been here all the time. How dare you come here and attempt to blackmail me? You sent her here on purpose.
No, Governor.
You must have. How else could you possibly know that she's here?
Don't take up a man like that, Governor.
The police shall take you up. This is a plant. A plot to extort money by threat.
Have
telephone for the police.
Have I asked? I'll tell you. Have I asked? Have I asked for a brass farthing? I put it to the gentleman here. Have I said a word about money?
Well, what else would you come for?
What else would a man come for? To be human, Governor.
So you've come to rescue her from worse than death, eh?
That's right, Governor. Just so.
Take it away.
Now, did I say anything about taking her away?
You're going to take her away double quick.
Now look here, Governor. I'm not one to stand my girl's light. Here's a career opening for her, as you might say.
This is Eliza's father. He has come to take her away.
No, this is a misunderstanding, you see.
You can't take it away, Mr. Higgins. How can he? You told me to burn her clothes.
That's right. I can't carry the girl through the streets like a blooming monkey, can I? I put it to you.
You have put it to me that you want your daughter, Jess. Take your daughter. If she has no clothes, go out and buy her some.
Oh, where the clothes she coming, Governor? Did I burn them? Or did your missus it?
I am the housekeeper, if you please. I have sent for some clothes for a girl. When they come, you can take her away. You can wait in the kitchen. This way, please.
Listen here, Governor. You and me is men of the world, isn't we?
Oh, men of the world, are we?
That's right.
You better go, Mrs. Pierce.
Thank you so indeed, sir.
The floor is yours, Doolittle.
I thank you, Governor. Well, truth is, I've taken sort of a fancy to you, Governor. And if you want the girl, I'm not so set on having her back home again. But what I might be open to is an arrangement. Regarding our young woman, she's a fine and handsome girl. As a daughter, she's not worth a keep. And so, I tell it to you straight. All I ask is my rights as a father. And you're the last man alive to expect me to let her go for nothing. As I can see you're a straight sort, well, what's a £5 note to you? And what's lies on me?
Oh, I think you ought to know, Doolittle, that Higgins' intentions are entirely honourable.
No, of course they were, Governor. There wasn't. I'd ask 50.
Do you mean to say that you would sell your daughter for £50?
Oh, not in a general way, I wouldn't.
You know morals, man.
Can't afford them, Governor. Because you refuse as poor as me. Not that I mean any harm, you know. But if Liza's have a bit over this, why not me too?
I don't know what to do, Pickering. There can be no question that as a matter of morals, it's a positive crime to give this chap a farthing. And yet, I feel sort of justice in his claim.
That's right, Governor. That's all I say. A father's heart, as it were.
Oh, I know the feeling, but it hardly seems right.
Well, don't say that, Governor. See, don't look at it that way. I mean, what am I? Governors both, I ask you, what exactly am I? I am one of the undeserved poor. Think of what it is to be a man. It means he's up against middle class morality all the time. Gets anything going, and I put in for just a bit of it. It's always the same story. You're undeserving, so you can't have it. But my needs is just as great as the most deserving widow that's ever gotten money out of 6 different charities and for the death of the same husband in the same week. I don't eat less than an arty man, and I drink a lot more. I want amusement, so I'm a thinking man. I want cheerfulness in a song and a band when I feel low. Well, they charge me just the same as they charge me reserving. So I ask you both, what exactly is middle-class morality? It's just an excuse for not giving me anything. And so, I'm asking you as two gentlemen to not play that game with me. I'm playing straight with you. I ain't pretending to be deserving. I'm undeserving. And I mean to go on being undeserving. I like it. And that's the truth. Would you take advantage of a man to doom out with the price of his own daughter, who he's brought up and fed by the sweat of his brow until she's grown up big enough? Be interesting to you two gentlemen? Is £5 really that unreasonable? I put it to you, and I'll leave it to you.
Hey, Green. Shall I give him a fiver?
No, he'll make bad use of it, I'm afraid.
Oh, no, Governor, so I won't. Don't you be afraid. I won't save it, or spare it, or live idle on it. There won't be a penny left by Monday. Just one good spree for myself and the missus, giving pleasure to ourselves and employment to others, and the satisfaction of knowing you couldn't have spent it better.
This is irresistible. Let's give him 10.
Oh, the missus wouldn't have the heart to spend 10. Perhaps I shouldn't either. £10 is a lot of money. It makes a man feel prudent-like, and then it's goodbye happiness. You give me what I ask you, Governor. Not a penny more, not a penny less.
£5, I think you said.
That's right, Governor.
You're sure you won't take 10?
Not now. Another time.
Here you are.
Thank you kindly, Governor. Afternoon, gentlemen. Oh, beg pardon, ma'am.
Go on, don't you know your own daughter?
Liza! Well, she cleaned up that nice. She's a credit to me, ain't she? And Sue, she'll pick up your free and easy ways.
No, I'm a good girl, I am, and I won't pick up no free and easy wise.
Eliza, if you say again that you're a good girl, your father shall take you home.
No.
Not him. You don't know my father. All he come for was a touchy for some money to go and get drunk on.
What else would I want money for? Oh, don't you give me none of your lip, and don't you give this gentleman none of it neither. Or you'll hear from me, see?
Have you any further advice to give her before you go, dear little? Your blessing, for instance?
Blessing? I ain't such a mug to put it to my children, or I know myself. I'd enough to keep them in without that. If you want Liza's mind improved, do it yourself. With a strap. So long, gentlemen.
Stop. Don't come regularly to see your daughter. It's your duty, you know. My brother is a clergyman, and he could help you when he talks with her.
Certainly I'll come, Governor. Just not this week, because I have a job at a distance. But later, you may depend on me. Afternoon, gentlemen. Ma'am.
Don't you believe the old liar? I'd as soon you set a bulldog on him as a clergyman. You won't see him again in a hurry.
I don't want to, Liza. You?
Not me. I don't want never to see him again, I don't. Well, ain't you gonna call me Miss Doolittle no more?
Oh, beg pardon, Miss Doolittle. It was a slip of the tongue.
Oh, I don't mind. Only it sounded so genteel-like. I should just like to take a taxi to the corner of Tottenham Court Road and get out and tell it to wait for me. Just to put the girls in their place a bit. I want to talk to them, you know.
Better wait until we get you into something really fashionable.
Besides, you shouldn't cut your old friends now that you've risen in the world. That's what we call snobbery.
You don't call the likes of them my friends now, I should hope. They took it out often enough on me with the ridicule when they had the chance. And they want me to get a bit of my own back. But if I'm to have fashionable clothes, I'll wait.
Fine. That settles that. So, have a seat. Let us get started on this little adventure of yours. Now, say your alphabet.
I know how to sign my alphabet. I don't need to be taught
Say
like a
your
child.
alphabet!
Say it, Miss Doolittle. You will understand presently. Just let
listen to this, Pickering. This is what we pay for as elementary education. This unfortunate animal has been locked up in school for 9 years at our expense to teach her to speak and read the language of Shakespeare and Milton. And the result is I, buy, sigh, die. Say A, B, C, D.
But I am saying it! I, buy, sigh.
Say a cup of tea.
I got the tie.
Now, put your tongue forward until it squeezes against the top of your lower teeth. Now say cup.
I can't.
Ah, splendid, Miss Doolittle.
By Jupiter, she's got it at the first shot. Pickering, we shall make a duchess of her. Now, do you think you could possibly say tea? Not tie, mind. If you ever say buy, sigh, die again, you should be dragged around the room 3 times by the hair of your head. Tea, 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 tea.
I can't hear no difference except when you say it. It sounds more genteel.
Well, if you can hear that difference, what in the world are you crying for? Be off with you to Mrs. Pierce and tell her about it. Think about it. Try to do it by yourself. And keep your tongue well forward in your mouth instead of trying to roll it up and swallow it. 4:30 this afternoon. Away with you. Pickering, we have taken on a stiff job.
Higgins? Where?
Mother!
Henry, what are you doing here today? Is my aunt home day? You promised not to come.
I picked up a girl.
Does that mean some girl has picked you up?
Not at all. I don't mean a love affair.
What a pity.
Why?
You never fall in love with anyone under 45. When will you discover there are some rather nice-looking young women about?
Oh, I can't be bothered with young women. My idea of a lovable woman is someone as like you as possible. I shall never get into the way of seriously liking young women. Somehow it's like you need to be changed. Besides, they're all idiots.
You know what you'd do if you really loved me, Henry?
Oh, what? Marry, I suppose.
No, stop fidgeting and take your hands out of your pockets. That's a good boy. Now tell me about the girl.
She's coming to see you.
I don't remember asking her.
Didn't. I asked her. If you'd known her, you wouldn't have asked her.
Indeed, why not?
Well, it's like this. She's a common flower girl. I picked her off the curbstone.
And invited her to my aunt home?
Oh, that'll be alright. I've taught her to speak properly, and she has strict orders as to her behavior. She's to keep to 2 subjects, the weather and everybody's home. Fine day, and how do you do, you know, and not to let yourself go on things in general. That'll be safe.
Say it! Talk about our health, about our insides, perhaps about our outsides? Oh really, how could you be so silly, Henry?
Well, she must talk about something. Don't you fuss. Pickering is in with me. I was sort of bet on that will pass her off as a Dutch assistant in 6 months. I started on her some months ago, and she's been getting on like a house on fire. She'll win my bet. She has a quick ear, and she's been easy to teach than my middle-class people, because she's had to learn a complete new language. She talks English almost as you talk French.
That's satisfactory to all events.
Well, it is and isn't.
What does that mean?
You see, I've got pronunciation all right, but you have to consider not only how a girl pronounces, but what she pronounces.
Mrs. Anne, Miss Inesford Hill.
Oh, should not.
How do you do? How do you do? My son Henry. Your celebrated son. I've so longed to meet you, Professor Higgins.
Delighted.
How do you do?
I've seen you before somewhere. I ghost of a notion where, but I've heard your voice. Doesn't matter, you better sit down.
I'm sorry to say my celebrated son has no manners.
Oh, have I been rude? I didn't mean to be.
We don't mind. Colonel Pickering.
How do you do, Mrs. Higgins?
So glad you've come. Do you know Mrs. Inesford Hill? Miss Inesford Hill?
So I'll just leave now.
Oh, Henry! Henry, really? Are we in the way? No, we couldn't have come more fortunately. We want you to meet a friend of ours. The Reverend and Mrs. Birch.
What? More of them?
How do you do? Vicar?
Has Henry told you what we've come for?
We were interrupted from the family.
Should we return at a more appropriate time?
No, you're just fine, Mrs. Birch.
Yes, like George. We want several extra people. You'll do as well as anybody else.
Mr. Inesford Hill.
Good heavens, are you put in a convention, mother? How do you do?
So glad to come.
Colonel
Pickering.
How do you do?
Don't think you know my son, Professor Higgins.
Oh, how do you do? I'll take my oath I've met you before somewhere. Where was it? I don't think so. Doesn't matter. Sit down. Well, here we are anyhow. Now what in the world are we going to talk about until Eliza comes?
Henry, you're the life and soul of the Royal Society soirees, but you're really rather trying on more commonplace occasions.
Am I? Very sorry. I suppose I am, you know.
I sympathize. People should only be frank and say what they really think.
Oh, Lord forbid.
But why?
Well, what they think they ought to think is bad enough. Goodness knows what they really think would break the whole show. Do you think it would really be agreeable if I was to come out now with what I really think?
Is he so very cynical?
Who said it was cynical? Not really, just would it be decent?
Personally, I find that people to be quite decent.
And I have found most of this to be savages, more or less.
Surely not. I find that people can be quite cultured. Poetry and the arts, science, even philosophy.
I ask you, Vicar, how many of us even know the meanings of those words? What do you really know of poetry, art, science, philosophy? What the dickens do I know about philosophy?
Or manners. Miss Doolittle.
Here she is, madam.
How do you do, Mrs. Higgins? Mr. Higgins told me I might come. Quite right, my dear. I'm very glad indeed to see you.
How do you do, Mr. Little?
Colonel Pickering, is it not? I feel quite sure we have met before, Miss Doolittle. I remember your eyes. How do you do? My daughter Clara. How do you do?
How do you do? I've certainly had the pleasure, I'm sure, somewhere.
My son, Frederick. How do you do?
Oh, yes, by George, it all comes back to me. Covent Garden. What an odd thing.
Henry! Don't sit on my writing table. You'll break it.
Sorry.
Will it rain, do you think?
The rain in Spain, they say, stays mainly on the plain. But in Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen. I beg your pardon. The shallow depressions in the west of these
my aunt died of influenza, so they said. But it's my belief they done the old woman in. Yes, Lord love you. Why should she die of influenza? She come through with diphtheria right enough the year before.
Perhaps it wasn't diphtheria. You see, Becca.
Oh, but I saw her with my own eyes. Fairly blue with it she was. They all thought she was dead, but my father kept ladling gin down her throat till she came to so suddenly she bit the bowl off the spoon. What call would a woman with that strength in her have to die of influenza? And what became of her new straw pot that should have come to me? Somebody pinched it. And what I say is, them that pinched it done her in.
You surely do not believe that your aunt was killed.
Do I not? Then she would have killed her for a hot pin, let alone a hot.
But it cannot have been right for your father to have poured spirits down her throat like that. It might have killed her.
Not her. Gin was mother's milk to her. Besides, he poured so much down his own throat, he knew the good of it.
Do you mean that he drank?
Drank? My word, something chronic.
How dreadful for you.
Oh, not a bit. It never did him no harm that I could see. But then he did keep it up regularly. On the burst, as you might say, from time to time. And always more agreeable when he had a drop in. When he was out of work, my mother used to give him 2 and a kick and tell him to go out and not come home until he jumped himself cheerful and loving like charming. There are lots of women who have to make their husbands drunk to make them fit to live with. You see, it's like this. If a man has a bit of conscience, it always takes him when he's sober, and that makes him low-spirited. A drop of booze just takes that off and makes him happy. Here now, what are you sniggering at?
Oh, do you small talk? You do it so awfully well.
If I was doing it proper like, then what was you laughing at? Have I said anything I oughtn't?
Not a thing, Miss Doolittle.
Well, that's a mercy anyhow. Like I always said. Well, I must be going. So pleased to have met you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Vicar. Goodbye, Colonel Pickering. Goodbye, all.
Miss Doolittle, would you be having to walk across the park? If so, I would most gladly walk with you.
Walk? Not bloody likely. I'm going in a taxi.
Not bloody likely.
Well, I asked you.
Would you like to meet Miss Doolittle again?
Oh, yes, I should. Most awfully.
Well, you know my days.
Oh, yes, thanks awfully. Well, goodbye, all.
Good day, Professor Higgins.
Goodbye.
It's of no use. I shall never be able to bring myself to use the new small talk.
Damn, it's not compulsory, you know. You get along quite well without it.
It's only that Clara is so down on me if I am not positively reeking with the latest slang. Good day.
Thank you, dear, for the most exciting afternoon.
Well, is it like to be sensible?
Of course not, you silly boy. She's a triumph of your art and her dressmakers. But if you think for you must be perfectly cracked about her. Now tell me, Colonel Pickering, what is the exact state of things in Wimpole Street?
Oh, well, I've come to live there with Henry. We work together at my Indian dialects. We get more
Quite
convenient.
so. I know all about it. It is an excellent arrangement. But where does this girl live?
With us, of course. Where should she live?
Well, in what terms? Is she a servant? If not, what is she?
I think I know what you mean, Mrs. Higgins.
Well, dash me if I do. I've had to work at the girl for months to get her to a present pitch. Besides, she's useful. She knows where my things are and remembers my appointments and so forth.
How does your housekeeper get on with her?
Mrs. Pierce? Oh, she's jolly glad to have so much taken off her hands. Before Eliza came, she used to have to find things and remind me of my appointments. But now she's got some silly bee in her bonnet about Eliza. She keeps saying, "You don't think so," doesn't she, Vic?
Yes, that's the formula. You don't think so. It's in every sentence about Eliza.
I see, I have to stop thinking about the girl and her confounded vowels and consonants. I'm all out thinking about her, and watching her lips and her teeth and her tongue, not to mention her soul, which is the quaintest of a lot.
You two are a pretty pair of babies, playing with your live dolls.
Playing? The hardest job I ever tackled. Make no mistake about that, Mother. But you have no idea how frightfully interesting it is to take a human being and change it into quite a different human being by creating a new speech for her. It's filling up the deepest gulf that separates class from class, and soul from soul.
Oh, yes, it's enormously interesting. I assure you, my dear Mrs. Higgins, we take Eliza very seriously. Every week, every day almost, there's some new change. We keep records at every stage, dozens of photographs.
Yes, by George, it's the most absorbing experiment I've ever tackled. She regularly does it alive, doesn't she, Vic?
Oh yes, we're always teaching, talking Eliza.
Teaching Eliza.
Dressing Eliza.
Inventing new Elizas.
Yes,
You know,
I'm sure you might get this
extraordinary
girl is a
It's
genius.
just like a pleasure. I'll try to run every possible sort of clever human being make African dialect, Scottish dialect,
Big pardon.
Sorry. When Pickering starts shouting, nobody can get a word in edgeways.
Be quiet, Henry. Colonel Pickering, do you know when Eliza walked into Wimpole Street, something else walked in with her?
No, her father did. Henry soon got rid of him.
It would have been more to the point if her mother had. But as her mother didn't, something else did.
But what?
A problem.
Oh, I see. The problem's that pass her over the lady.
I'll solve that problem. I've solved it already.
No, you two infinitely stupid male creatures. The problem of what is to be done for afterwards.
No, I don't see anything to that. She can go her own way with all the advantages I've given her.
Advantages of that poor woman who was in here just now? The monarchs and hobbits that disqualify